In the wake of yesterday's big announcement, $6 million in anti-violence funding, the talk of money continues here at City Hall today with the Budget 2020 process ongoing. Last committee meeting, and this was a chance for councillors to try and make another big push for funding for programs and services.
We need to look for other sources of revenue. Property tax is the easiest.
For years in Toronto, extra taxes, levies and fees have been debated at City Hall. Many have been shot down, but another has surfaced for 2020.
But I was wondering how a vacant home tax has impacted the availability of homes in places like Vancouver.
Those supporting a vacant home tax will tell you it's more about trying to make more housing available in a market that desperately needs it. Although the City of Vancouver did manage to pull in nearly $40 million in 2018.
I think it's, in terms of revenue, if the policy is working well, it's actually very modest in terms of revenue. It's really more about driving the policy outcome that we want, which is to bring those units online and make them available for rental stock.
And are there options?
City staff have been asked to report back on the feasibility of a vacant home tax in the spring, after this budget already passes. In the meantime, the process pushes ahead with a 4.24% property tax increase now closer to becoming a reality.
So I believe this budget charts a responsible path forward for the city in 2020.
Budget Chief Gary Crawford says the extra money raised by the City Building Fund, included in that tax increase, will go directly towards affordable housing and transit. Others are quick to point out the impact provincial budget cuts will have on the city.
This is the first budget where we've seen the full impact of Premier Ford's cuts. We have childcare, where the number of subsidies in proportion to the number of spaces was going down, which is unhealthy.
Healthcare funding cuts have also been at the top of the list for public debate, with municipalities now expected to pick up 30% of the costs. Toronto is facing extra pressure and potential shortfalls next year.
I believe this budget also emphasizes the important role that Toronto plays within the region and the need for other governments to work with us to find and fund that larger role.
Provincial cuts aside, there's also the tens of millions of dollars that the city is hoping for from the federal government, and that's an assumption that they make every single year. Now, while today's meeting was an important step in the process, the entire budget still has to go to City Council in a couple of weeks.